Good afternoon to the members of the media. Thank you for being available. Apologies for being late starting. It's been a very busy time for our organization and for organizations across the NHL. When you go into the off season, it's the best opportunity to improve your hockey club, to make changes to the makeup of your roster, and to prepare your team for the upcoming season. For our team, we went into the off season with a few goals in mind. First, we need to manage our salary cap effectively. That dictates any moves that we may or may not be able to make. It was a real priority for our team to re-sign Alec Martinez based on the contributions that he had made to our team in his 2 years here. And if we had the opportunity, we wanted to improve our team at the forward position. I think as we go through it, effectively those conversations can begin going right back to the NHL trade deadline, which was on April 12th. You have discussions with general managers that don't materialize at that time, but those talks continue into the off season. Really, when the season ends is when you see talks really pick up and begin to happen. There were different stages of the off season for me this year with expansion. There was a window leading into the roster freeze that I believe which was July 17th, which gave teams an opportunity which we were able to use to our advantage to acquire players that teams might move because of expansion, because of exposure challenges that they had with respect to Seattle. So we utilized that period, I thought, effectively with the addition of Nolan Patrick and Brett Howden, two young centers that we think give us real good size, good pedigree, both former first-round picks. We've spoke about that the day that we made those additions. So we thought that was a good start to the off season. From there, you go into expansion itself, and that period of time from expansion to the entry draft, where I believe I said with media availability some time ago that you would see quite a bit of activity, which in fact there was, and then then the ongoing discussions with trades that lead into free agency, which of course took place today, where there was a tremendous amount of activity. Our transactions today, the re-signing of Alec Martinez to a 3-year, $5.25 million per year transaction cap hit on his contract, and really, as I mentioned, a real priority for our team. Marty has been a great fit. The leadership he provides in our dressing room is immeasurable. He has tremendous respect from his teammates. His play on the ice, literally since the day we acquired him, has been exemplary. This past year, really had tremendous offensive production. His courage and shot blocking is well documented. Led the NHL in the regular season, led the NHL in the playoffs. Has been a great partner on our top pair with Alex Pietrangelo, and really pleased to be able to keep him in the fold because of what he brings to our hockey club. So welcome back, Alex, with the early morning trade with Ottawa, where we acquired forward Evgeny Dodonov. Really pleased by that. He was a player that we had identified as a priority. We thought enough of him to have him ahead of all players that were available in expansion. We, by completing that transaction early in the morning, it effectively addressed that need that we had, where we wanted to add one really good forward. And I think with Dodonov last year, he was in Ottawa. The 3 years previous, he was in Florida. In Florida, his last 3 years, he had 28 goals, 25 goals. This year in Ottawa, in a shortened season, he had 13 goals. This is a player that makes his living in the hard ice. He is very competitive. He's an engine on the line. We've had really good coverage of this player for some time, hold him in high regard, and we're able to complete that transaction today for defenseman Nick Holden and a third-round pick. When free agency opened, we had a priority of adding a backup goaltender to complement Robin Lehner. Laurent Brossoit was the top choice on our list. We were able to put together a deal with him. He comes here from Winnipeg, where he had backed up Connor Hellebuck. He was looking for a little more opportunity, which I think he will get here, but he's a player that we have really high regard for. Our goaltending coach, Mike Rosati, really has a lot of value for the player, as do our pro staff. So that was the player that we selected in free agency. And then as the day went on, we had an opportunity to bring back Matthias Janmark, and it was on a deal that worked for us, a one-year deal at $2 million. And I think with Matthias, just really a Swiss Army knife for us in his time on our team when we acquired him from Chicago at the trade deadline. He was able to contribute in a number of different ways. A real solid, respected two-way NHL forward. So that was a bonus for us, really, as the day went on. Three other signings: Sven Berchi, Gage Quinney, Patrick Brown. So Patrick Brown and Gage Quinney have been in our organization and have shown real good call-up ability to play NHL games. Patrick Brown played a number of games with our team this year. Gage Quinney had battles with health over the course of the year, but was likely the top call-up coming out of our main training camp. I thought he had an exceptional camp with our team, and we're really pleased to keep both of those players in our organization. Great people as well as really effective players. Sven Berchi is a player that was a first-round pick of Calgary a number of years ago. Comes to us most recently from the Vancouver Canuck organization, and I think has played a number of NHL games, and we think can be a guy that has call-up utility for our team as well, or can be a really effective player for our team in Henderson. So those are the transactions today. To Nick Holden and Thomas Nosek, thank you for your time here, and we wish both players all the best in their new locations. Nick, as part of the trade this morning to Ottawa. I think for Holdy, he was really a good contributor here in his time. Challenging situation being out of the lineup more than he was in the lineup during the regular season, and yet I believe playing 13 or 14 of our 19 playoff games, where I thought he played extremely well, first with Shea Theodore on that pair, and then with the return of Braden McNabb at that time, he then played a number of games with Zach Whitecloud. So it's a challenging position for a player to be in. One of the things that we're mindful of with this move is Nick he's in his final year of his contract. He wants to play next year. So it's a lot better opportunity for him to go to Ottawa and play a significant role. It probably helps him with his next contract, which would be happy to see. And to do what he did again is challenging. So that was what went into the conversation. I had a good discussion with Nick this morning. He loved playing in Las Vegas, like all of our players do, but at the same time, understands the points that I just talked about. We've got on our left side with Martinez, McNabb, Nick Hague. That's a real strength of our hockey club. So he's grateful that it comes in the off season so he can relocate his family, get his kids in school, get settled, and those types of things before he gets to training camp. In the case of Thomas Nosek, he's an original. He was our selection from the Detroit Red Wings in the expansion draft. He had played on the Calder Cup winning team in Adirondack, in Grand Rapids that year that we selected him. And just for me, You know, zero ego, very humble person, really improved as a player, gave us, I thought 4 great years. I'm really proud of him, happy for him to get a real good contract in Boston. I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, scored the first goal in the franchise history at home in our game on in opening night against Arizona. And I believe also, the first goal in the Stanley Cup final. So happy for him to get a real good opportunity. And thanks to Thomas and Nick for their time in our organization. As an overview, really pleased with how this period of time has gone for our team. We're in a good spot. We're not likely to be involved in any other discussions. We've used our money that we had available to us. We've addressed the needs that we identified, going into this time frame, and we're anxious to get ready for training camp as we move into the next season. I think that I'll open up to questions. I probably have talked enough, but it's been a busy time, as you guys would know, and we've made a number of transactions that we think improve our team and put us in a real good position. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Thank you very much, Kelly. As a reminder to all media members, please use the raise hand function on Zoom, and we will get to your question. First question today will come from Ben Goetz of the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hi, Kelly. You mentioned that upgrading at forward was a priority, but was getting a player like Evgeny Dadonov, a more offensive-driven forward who's known for scoring goals, the specific kind of type of forward you were looking to add?
Yeah, he really fit the bill for us. It was he was a player that I said we had a lot of regard for. There were some good forwards available in free agency that that we liked, that we would have turned to or pivoted to had we not been able to complete the trade with Ottawa. But our priority was this player, and we were happy to add him. I think he's going to fit in really well. I think he'll be a contributor on our power play. I think he'll be a guy that really drives offense, and our staff, our pro staff, refer to him as really being an engine on the line. So that's the appeal with him. It's a manageable 2-year contract, but he comes in and gives us another really good NHL forward. The point I was going to make before I cut myself off in my opening comments is, I think this is the best top 9 forwards that our organization has had, and I think this is the best group of forwards collectively that our team has had. So that was, really positive addition to our team this morning.
Next question today will go to Justin Emerson, Las Vegas Sun.
Hey, Kelly, you might have just answered the question there at the end, but you do have a lot of wingers right now, and by public models are a little bit over the salary cap. Do you expect to trade one of the wingers before opening night?
We'll be cap compliant. I think I say this to you guys pretty regularly. We'll be cap compliant when the time comes, and that'll be addressed and in due course.
Next question today will go from Jesse Granger from The Athletic.
Hey, Kelly, there were quite a few goalies out there that were available today. I'm just curious what you guys saw in Brossoit that made you kind of focus in on him.
Good history on the player, back to junior hockey, his time with the Edmonton Oil Kings. Have followed his career, have talked about him in the past, viewings from our pro staff, reports from Mike Rosati and Fred Brathwaite. Mike, of course, is the goalie coach of our Vegas team, and Fred is the goalie coach for Henderson. Just really like what he's done in Winnipeg, and he's played behind Connor Hellebuck, who's a real workhorse. He was looking for a little more opportunity, and he's a really good fit for our team behind Robin.
Just as a reminder for media members, use the raise hand function if you have a question. Next question will go to David Shane, Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hey, Kelly, with regard to Alec, did you hesitate at all with the 3 years in terms of the term? And maybe just what do you think the contract says to what you feel about the player and your commitment to him and maybe getting close to probably what he was getting or going to get on market value?
Well, I don't know what he would have got on market value, David. I don't know if you had your TV on today, but you know, the contracts were, I think, probably quite a bit higher than what people might have anticipated. Clearly significantly higher than a year ago. So whether that's optimism, just that better times are ahead with respect to fans in buildings, normalcy returning, that type of thing is likely part of it. But I would say, after the fact, I feel fortunate that we got him at 3 times 5.25. I think the market would have paid him quite a bit more than that. More importantly, maybe to the first part of your question, you're at our games. He was one of our best players, and all I can really add to that is what I think he means to the leadership of our team. And I remember, the day we traded for him, referencing the fact that he's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. And you see that in his preparation. You see that in his courage and commitment. You see that in his leadership and mentorship of younger players on our team. And, as our team gets a little bit younger, which we have here through this stretch, it magnifies the value of those older guys that are in your dressing room. And I really feel that he's one of the most respected players on our team. So, it was never, it needs to be manageable. It needs to work. It has to work. That's implicit with what a salary cap does in terms of your ability to do business. But in terms of our willingness or our interest or desire, we really wanted this player to be a Vegas Golden Knight. It was a really good trade for us 2 years ago when we got him from Los Angeles, and he's just had a resurgence where he's likely played his best hockey as an NHL player, right now.
Next question will go back to Justin Emerson of Las Vegas Sun.
Hey, Kelly, I just want to ask about Peyton Krebs and just kind of where you see his development path and what you're kind of hoping to see out of him next year, whether that be in Vegas or Henderson.
Well, Peyton is now done junior, where he was player of the year in the Western Hockey League. Again, I think he's been around Henderson enough, and of course his time with Golden Knights when he came up after his junior season prior to his injury, that everyone is really excited about Peyton. It becomes more and more clear when you watch him play that his instincts and passion for the game really separate him. He is a talented player, but there's just if there's players that have that it factor, he seems to be one of those players that really just finds a way to be a really effective, productive player. He's a coach's dream in terms of understanding the game and doing things the way that you want them to be done and providing energy. We'll assess that all at training camp. I know Peyton will be coming here to make the NHL team. If he's able to do that, then that's a great accomplishment for a player right at junior. If he requires time in Henderson, we've got a great program there for his development as well. So we'll let that play out when we get started in the fall.
We have time for a few more questions for General Manager Kelly McCrimmon. Next, we'll go to Jesse Granger of The Athletic.
Hey, Kelly, you mentioned Evgeny Dadonov and how effective he was in Florida, and maybe a bit of a down year in Ottawa. But I've heard that maybe he didn't adjust as well in Ottawa, didn't have his family, and with all the restrictions that players went through this year, how much of that went into the thought process of signing him, and how much do you think maybe you're getting the player you saw in Florida?
Well, I expect we will be. So, it's interesting. I go back to the first time when we had our pro staff together, if that would have been maybe in early April or March. And one of the comments I made at that time is this is a year where you should be careful making final judgments because there's so many factors at play. players that are away from family, players that have had COVID, players that had tough recoveries from COVID, players that had family members with COVID. The isolation that you heard NHL players talk about, the challenges that come with that, empty buildings and all that went with that. So in Evgeny's case, he has had two boys. They now have a third child. So this past season, he was in Ottawa alone. His wife was pregnant. From I think the 3-month time frame to the 8-month time frame that he would have been in Ottawa. I spoke to Evgeny today. He really said that was difficult, and of course he had the quarantines himself when he got to Canada. It was impossible to bring his family in and see them. So aside from what we see on the ice, which is obviously where the games are played and the evaluations of players are made. There's a lot of factors that come into play this year with NHL players and with COVID, and it's no different in society. It's been a challenge. So he's really excited about his family being with him. He's really excited about coming to Vegas to play with our team. We've had a large body of work on this player. We have really good coverage of Evgeny from our pro staff, from this year, where, I think 5-on-5, his numbers were pretty similar to what they had been. And then the 3 years that he played in Florida, I think, we have we're confident we know what we're getting. We're confident we're going to have a player come in and be a really important player in our forward group.
Final question today goes to Ben Goetz, Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hey, Kelly, you touched on this in an earlier answer, but with Nick Holden gone, your depth on defense is now very, very young. Just how confident are you in some of the young guys in your organization that may need to step up if needed next season, especially on the left side?
Well, those are all questions that we talk about. We go into a lot of detail with our assessments, with our projections, with our evaluations, with what we want our team to look like. Really important for me that we get Dylan Coghlan into more games. So he'll be a guy that we need to help continue to develop. And I think the organization, which is obviously focused on winning, we've had really good development from a lot of young players. And when you look at Nick Hague breaking in as a regular 2 years ago, trading places with Zach Whitecloud going into the break that we had that season, Whitey finishing the year in the lineup, then playing the entire bubble. This year, Nick Hague playing 52 of 56 games. The growth we've seen in Nick Waugh's game, the growth we've seen in Keegan Colasar's game. I think that we've done a really good job with some of those young players and helping them develop. So we want to get Cogs more games. You say the left side. I think the one luxury we have is Shea Theodore is a left shot defenseman that plays right side. So that gives you the ability to be able to put Dylan Coghlan into your lineup if need be, or if that's the choice of the coaches. Shea can play left. So there's a lot of different ways that we can do it. And then I think you want to try to have opportunities available if there's players in Henderson that you want to learn more about, that you want to see what they look like in NHL games. Because the one thing about it, you prepare your lineup. You want to be healthy all year. Rarely that you are, that it ever plays out that way. But part of what you gain when you see players get opportunities, you see what they do in the NHL, because it's easy to talk about what you think they can do or what you project them to do from watching players play in the American League. When you get to see them in NHL games, I think there's real value in that. So obviously you want to remain healthy. But when those opportunities present themselves, I think it's good to to let players get a look, and then we have a better handle on where we're at with those people.
Thanks, Kelly, very much for your time today. Thank you very much to the members of the media for jumping